people tune in to watch World This Morning on PTV World. Today, I happen to be Eesha Rehan and I've been joined by the one and only Shahzad Khan. And today we have awoken in a very beautiful Islamabad that has been enveloped in a spell of rain. I woke up with the musty smell of the wet air and the wet soil, and it was very, very calming that winter is coming and we are prepared for it in the month of fall. However, let's ask Shahzad. Assalamu alaikum, Shahzad. How are you feeling today and how was the rain?
Walaikum assalam. I'm feeling excited, ecstatic, and on top of my world, and it's because of the fact that the weather now, ladies and gentlemen, has taken a turn. And since we did speak about Eesha yesterday, that you know how fall is over here and that we've been counting leaves and you need to walk on the leaves, and I think it's just mesmerizing for me to kind of see this first rain of winters, you know, opening its arms and engulfing Islamabad and Rawalpindi into a bit of a more breezy weather, which actually is inclined towards being a little more colder and chillier, is something that actually makes me feel like having a little bit of pakoras and samosas, and why not, I think. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, Jummah Mubarak to each and every one of you. We hope that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. Obviously, a lot of people are excited about their weekend. But I'm not. You know, every time that it's a weekend, I feel like as if my routine's going to get disturbed, and that I'm the sort of a guy who would want to work 7 days a week, you know, 30 days a month, and 365 days a year.
The one and only who would want to work 7 days a week. However, you know, I feel like we need to move on with what the show entails. Let's take a glimpse of what we are going to talk about today. So what story have you got?
So I think first things first, you know, I brought a few highlights. I think I've got one highlight and you've got two highlights as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to build up on the story that I've been building up on for past couple of days. In the highlights, you know, thousands of people certainly have gathered in mass protests around the world to denounce Israel's interception of the global Sumud Flotilla, which had been sailing towards the Gaza Strip. Israel says all but one of the 24 vessels symbolically carrying aid towards war-ravaged Gaza have been seized, while dozens of activists also have been detained. Not just that, Hamas has actually even written and said or have given a statement saying that they will be responding to Donald Trump as soon as possible. In addition to this, there have been more strikes in Gaza, and Israel has actually issued a statement saying that people really need to vacate Gaza or these particular areas of Gaza where they certainly isolate the leadership of the Hamas or the people who actually belong to Hamas as well. We will be building up on that. In addition to this, Eesha, what have you brought?
All right, let's start with our next big highlight, and that is how unfortunately Pakistan got beaten by Bangladesh in Colombo during the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 after being bowled out. After just 120 runs, our girls could not defeat the total. Bangladesh chased it down comfortably with 7 wickets in hand. The star of the match was Bangladesh's debutante Rubia Heather, who scored an unbeaten half-century. For Pakistan, captain Fatma Sana and bowler Diana Baig, they tried their best. However, Bangladesh completely dismissed everything and they were able to grasp this title for this specific match. And you know, moving on, let's talk about what is happening in Pakistan, right? So the beautiful, rugged and untapped area of Balochistan is being explored and it is being fulfilled and flourished for the people in it. We are going to talk about the potential that Balochistan upholds, the remote valleys, the rugged roads and the beautiful landscapes. The government has rolled out an ambitious development program for the Zohab Wana Road aimed to connect far-flung communities. Not just this, water supply schemes are bringing life to the parched districts, and the Green Balochistan initiative is going to restore forests and stop soil erosion. Today we are going to discuss how these projects are going to deliver a breakthrough for the development in Balochistan. But before we dive into all these special news,
I think I know what you're about to say. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll head out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Jummah Mubarak. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I think first things first, the first story that we will be building up on is where thousands of people have gathered in protest, and that just yesterday we did see how, there was the intervention of the Israeli naval seals in order to stop the Sumud Flotilla, which are actually taking aid for the people of Gaza. To find out the latest updates as to what has actually been happened, because not just that, quite a lot of people have been detained by Israeli forces. We're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. SHABBIR WAHGRA, happens to be the senior correspondent for Pakistan TV. Hello, SHABBIR. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for your time. How are you doing today?
All right.
SHABBIR, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, SHABBIR. SHABBIR, what's the latest on the Sumud Flotilla and the people who've been detained by Israeli forces?
The latest, as you rightly pointed out, that thousands of people across the globe, including Northern America, Europe, Asia, Muslim countries, and even in our country, Pakistan, and other South Asian countries, they gathered in support of the unlawful and unjustified intervention of Israeli Navy SEALs. They have gathered roughly 14 civilian vessels. They were carrying humanitarian supplies, and they have now arrested around 450 activists from dozens of countries who was basically intercepted by Israeli Navy forces, and now they are they have arrested them, and they are, according to reports, that they are preparing to deport them. And these hundreds of participants which are detained, they are among them are around 5 to 6 Pakistanis are also there. There's a small Pakistani delegation which was led by Pakistani Senator Mushtaq Ahmed Khan. They are also, according to reports, they are also under the Israeli custody, and for that, Pakistan's Foreign Office, Pakistan's Prime Minister also took notice of the issue, and Pakistan Foreign Office categorically not only condemned this, but also stated that they are, as Pakistan does not recognize Israel, so that is why they are working with the partner countries, including very influential countries who have a good influence on Israeli government and on Israeli authorities. Pakistan Foreign Office.
Exactly. SHABBIR, at this point of time, there's just one simple thing that I would want to ask. Thank you so much, first of all, for highlighting the most important aspects of it, whether how many people have been detained by Israeli forces. But now imagine that Hamas says that it will soon respond to the President Donald Trump's proposal. Now that's one thing which is still on hold. But what is the future of all of these people who've been detained illegally and unconstitutionally by the Israeli armed forces? Do you think, because you did speak about, MOFA, you did speak about how our Honorable Prime Minister has been in conversation, this has taken to the platform X as well. What is the future of these people, and what is being done by different governments to make sure that their people come back home safely?
Definitely, if we talk about the nationalities of these people, these are from worldwide, different continents and different nationalities. And after the widespread condemnation and diplomatic protests by Turkey, South Africa, Spain, Italy, and many European Union states, they not only demanded protection of their citizens, but also demanded the release of their nationals, because these countries have direct diplomatic relations with Israel. So on that base, they directly demanded from Israel to send their citizens not only back, but all with the safety. On the other hand, many countries who does not recognize Israel, their citizens are also on board of on this, and they were also arrested for that. As Pakistani Foreign Office stated that they are in contact with friendly countries who have influence on Israel. That can be United States or other countries where Pakistan has a diplomatic relations, and they are now demanding them for the safe return of.
Yeah, SHABBIR, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your timely update as well. We're building up on these stories. Thank you so much for your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. SHABBIR WAHGRA, the senior correspondent for Pakistan TV, who's actually highlighted how 450 people have been detained. And there are multiple nationalities, people from different countries who've been detained illegally, unconstitutionally by the Israeli armed forces. Now, to speak or further develop on this story, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by Mr. TUGHRAL YAMIN, who actually happens to be a senior analyst himself as well. Mr. TUGHRAL, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Shahzad sahab, Allah ka shukr. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
For joining us. So, TUGHRAL sahab, first things first, from Europe to Australia and South America, demonstrators took to the streets to condemn the treatment of global Sumud Flotilla, which set sail from Barcelona last month to challenge Israel's blockade of Gaza. What's your take?
That's true. People are protesting because most of the people think that what the Sumud Flotilla was doing was right, was brave. They were trying to break the siege. They wanted to provide humanitarian aid to the Basit Gazans who have been starved, who are not getting water, who are not getting any medical attention, who are living under the most harsh conditions possible. Genocide is taking place over there. So these people, very brave people, very noble people, they're taken upon themselves to go to Gaza to not rescue them, but provide them some kind of humanitarian aid. But really, Shahzad Saab, I thought this was ultimately this is what is going to happen, because Israel would have not tolerated anybody breaking the siege. Unfortunately, they want these people to die. They are carrying out ethnic cleansing. They don't want these people to survive. I knew that finally this was going to happen. But nonetheless, I salute to all these people who were traveling in this flotilla, 40 odd ships, civilians, all of them. I don't know if any one of them had any military training or not, but very brave people, including our former Senator Mushtaq Ahmed Khan Saab. Very brave people. They wanted to bring supplies, humanitarian supplies, to the poor, besieged, and oppressed people of Gaza. So yes, sorry for the people over there, and sorry also for these very brave people who had ventured into dangerous waters.
And speaking of protests, we have seen how in Italy, one of the largest labor unions has protested and announced a strike for the solidarity of Gaza, right? What kind of pressure is this adding on to governments generally, right? Because it's around 450 activists have been captured from 44 different countries. The governments are under intense pressure as well.
Now, the governments are under pressure. The governments in Europe and the United States, who have been supporting Israel in some cases willy-nilly, in some cases because they have no other options, because the US would not want them to do anything else. So protests in these countries will bring pressure onto their national governments. But we have seen that even in the United States of America, about a year back, there were protests in the campuses, and a lot of people said that whatever is happening in Palestine is anti-human actually. But what the government did over there was brutally crack down on these students and inflicted policies so that the foreign students particularly were deported if they were expressing any kind of solidarity with Palestine. So I do not know how much.
Exactly. Mr. TUGHRAL, I'm sorry to intercept over here, but now what I would want to ask is, let's speak about, the Pakistanis who've been on board as well. Now imagine that Pakistan, which does not recognize Israel, will have to be in conversation with their partners, and this is a statement which was released by MOFA, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where they say, as Pakistan does not recognize Israel, the government is closely coordinating with an international partners in the region to secure the immediate release of its nationals. How do you think that now it will unfold?
Okay, Shahzad, please address me as Dr. Yamin. Okay, we are doing everything that is possible. Humanly possible. We are in contact with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that they are in contact with their local partners, regional partners, and I presume these must be the Jordanians and these must be the Egyptians or any other country which is actually bordering on Israel or whom they listen to. Turkey is also one country which has diplomatic relations with Israel. So Pakistan government is talking to them. They will also open their channels to the Israelis. I personally think that they are going to deport these people. What the Israelis will think of this entire venture is it's a bit of a nuisance for them. Nothing much. This was not a military flotilla. These were unarmed civilians who wanted to break the siege. So that is what I think is going to happen. They will be deported.
Dr. Yamin, and Dr. Yamin, in addition to this, where we're speaking about that these are unarmed people, we've seen, what, Israel has already done with the unarmed people on the Gaza Strip as well, unfortunately. So, I hope and I pray that, that all of those activists who were out there, who were aboard all of those vessels to kind of make sure that the besieged people of Gaza could actually get some sort of aid. But now, sir, I think that the situation is becoming more intense, and it's because of the fact that on the other hand, we see the United States President making sure, coming up with the 20-point peace accord, but on the other hand, 53 Palestinians killed in Israeli strikes, at least 53 Palestinians, and across Gaza, as Israel threatened tens of thousands remaining of Gaza City with a forced order to leave, saying it is their last opportunity to flee or face the full force of Israel's assault.
Yes, this is unfortunate. I think nobody has been able to stop Israel from attacking the unarmed Palestinians. And in that context, I think sending an international stabilization force over there is a very good idea. Under the responsibility to protect clause of the United Nations, all countries of the world are duty-bound to stop genocide. And genocide is actually what is happening in Gaza. So I think the earlier the better. Some kind of international stabilization force should go there. The Israeli occupational forces should withdraw and hand over the control to international monitors. These people have had enough. More than 2 years, they've been bombarded, they've been killed, they've been starved, and all kinds of vile things have been done to them. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yamin, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And while we're talking about it, and while we're speaking about how the aid has been actually stopped and intervened by the Israeli naval forces, ladies and gentlemen, another child has actually died because of starvation and famine in Gaza. Not just that, if you are to speak about the total number of starvation deaths, it's somewhat around 455, including 151 children, amid acute shortages of food and medical supplies. It is an unfortunate time for us to witness. And unfortunately, for people, who were out there, who wanted to make sure that the besieged people of Gaza are actually going to receive some sort of aid, there are Israeli forces who, obviously we do know how Netanyahu is a criminal. He's wanted by the ICC and ICJ, and they keep on attacking the innocent people of Palestine, and the Palestinians have been subjected to such atrocities, and it's a genocide, and it will never be legitimized, no matter what. It's a killing, and it's a murder of the people of the Gaza, and that's exactly how it's going to be. But we hope and pray that, that the remaining people who are aboard the vessels, they make sure that they reach in time to the people of Gaza so that they could actually provide them with food or whatever they require. Our hopes and prayers are with them. It's Friday. Please make sure that you pray for them as well. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back to all the people who stay tuned to stay informed. I happen to be Eesha Rehan, and today we will be diving into some international news. Firstly, it is the United States that is going to provide Ukraine with intelligence to launch missile strikes against Russian energy and defense infrastructures. Speaking more about this, according to the Wall Street Journal, UN officials will allow Kyiv to strike energy infrastructure deep in the Russian territory and are considering to send more weapons to Ukraine that could put more targets within reach to Kyiv. The journal reported that American officials have asked NATO allies to provide Kyiv with similar support. Ukraine has benefited from American intelligence throughout the war, but Kyiv has asked for additional assistance to strike Russian infrastructures. Let's see how this situation will unfold as the United States is going to be supporting Ukraine. And further about international developments, unfortunately, Turkey was struck with a 5.0 magnitude earthquake, and it rattled buildings in Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, sending some people rushing out to the streets. The disaster agency said that the tremors centered in the Marmara Sea, southwest of Istanbul, along with the fault lines seen as a risk for the city of 16 million people. The epicenter was located off the coast of the northwestern TUGHRAL province. A depth of 6.7 kilometers was achieved at the epicenter, and there have been no reports of damage in Istanbul so far, but our hearts and prayers go out to the people of Turkey. We hope everyone is safe and evacuations are being conducted thoroughly. However, we are going to hop on over to Shahzad, who is going to have an interesting conversation with our sports analyst.
All right, thank you so much, Eesha, and for saying that. And it's because of the fact that Pakistan's women's cricket performance or men's cricket performance is no less than earthquake jolts anyways as well, because just yesterday, where we did get started with our World Cup campaign, we did see how Pakistan unfortunately lost to Bangladesh. It was very embarrassing to see that, that's the kind of level of cricket that we have, or the kind of skill that we have, where Bangladesh actually winning by 7 wickets. But that's not just that. If I am to kind of say everything, what will my wonderful, co-host or a person who's actually a sports analyst say? Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Miss NATALIA. BAQER. Hello, NATALIA. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Good morning. I'm feeling absolutely great. How are you feeling today?
I think I'm feeling absolutely fantastic as well. And for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking a bit about the historical perspective of World Cup as well for women. And then we'll continue for that. Let's go. Let's take a good seat as well. And, so that we could actually get started. Let's make ourselves comfortable. First things first. All right, NATALIA, so let's get started. I think for all of our audiences who are out there, let's touch upon or touch base with the historical perspective of the Women's World Cup. Let's go.
Well, Shahzad, this one is a very interesting one because the Women's World Cup the world saw for the first time was in 1973. And that was 2 years before the Men's World Cup was officially inaugurated. That means that women had played World Cup before men. So that was in 1975 when men were played World Cup for the first time. So women were, forward. Yes,
yeah. Okay, well, that's wonderful.
And that's the fact number one. And the fact number two, because you have just mentioned about Pakistan versus Bangladesh in yesterday's match, which was not at all nail-biting, not at all exciting, but let's get back to history. The second fact I want to mention is that Pakistan had qualified for Women's World Cup in 1997. And since then, 1997, Pakistan the team had a great gap in between, and then it qualified next in 2009. That was a very, very huge gap. So we're talking about some historical facts. So this one is one that Pakistan women team has great potential. We have seen big names in this team playing, and like Sanamir, of course. But the whole team needs immense hard work. I can say that after what I have seen in the Bangladesh.
Thank you so much, NATALIA, for saying that. Now let's get started with what went wrong for Pakistan, where we were about to get started with our campaign, and Pakistani women winning the toss, and then not really making the right decision, because in the later half we did see how the ball was. In the first half we did see how there were lateral movement. There was a lateral movement. The ball was seaming and what. Do you think that we had the right call, to kind of go ahead and bat first?
It has been said that the pitch they were playing on, the Columbia pitch, that has a little bit of leverage when batting is done at the first place, in the first innings. And that does give a little push to the batsman in the first innings, especially if it's been played in the afternoon hours or the evening hours. And Pakistan team could have taken that leverage and, could have scored better in the power play as well. But whenever we say that Pakistan could have done this, Pakistan never does it. The team never does it. I am, again, the comparison there is no comparison when we talk about men's cricket team and then the women Pakistan cricket team. Both of the teams are doing the same thing. These are the same things we have been discussing, that, power play, don't lose wickets, be consistent with your batting, do better fielding, do not, just lose catches.
See?
But
it's not just me now, so
everyone's jumping on the train. And speaking of this, right, so in the early innings we saw how Marufa Akhtar from Bangladesh completely wiped away both Umaima Sohail and Sidra Amin during her first over. So how do you think this basically toppled Pakistan's early innings?
Well, coming to Umaima Sohail and Sidra Amin, we see Pakistan women cricket team has a better batting line than Pakistan men cricket team. The combination we had chosen for Asia Cup, it's much better than that.
What's that combination?
But
What's our combination? How many all-rounders are playing? You know, how many
we
pacers?
we have Fatma Sana, we have Shamim, we have I have forgotten all the
Exactly,
names,
it's
but
perfect.
we have other women as well playing. Umaima is a good player, and Sidramin is a good player.
Fatma Sana.
But again, coming back to the pitch, it was a baller's pitch, and Marufa and other Nahida and all of the Bangladesh bowlers had taken that leverage, had spinned, and then they knew the pitch is going to, you know, swing the ball like
Exactly,
anything.
and not just that. I think what we really need to kind of speak about is why do you think that the Pakistani women were not able to pick up wickets on that pace on which the Bangladeshi bowlers did? Because if I am to speak about it, you know, Marufa Akhtar picked up 2, not just that, Shorna Akhtar picked up 3, and you know, Nahid Akhtar actually picked up 2, and then 1 scalp each for all the other bowlers. Whereas if we are to kind of compare it with Pakistan, we do see, you know, how we weren't able to pick up
Fatma
wickets.
Sana
Fatma
won.
Zina with 1 and Diana Beg with 1. And then Ramim Shamim with 1. You know, so I think that's exactly. And Pakistani women already had the ability to get wickets in the middle over, but the total was too low that, you know, that they couldn't really do that.
It always happens with, I don't know, Pakistan women team as well as, again, men team as well, that the score is always so low that, you know, the match which we can eventually win turns into something we lose, you know. So the score is, the most important thing is that if you have decided to, you know, bat first, the score must be of that graceful number that the other team has to do a little hard work to chase it at least.
Exactly, but you know, this is where now people will think that, you know, it's a logical point. Imagine that, you know, if you have obviously, you know, their decision to kind of go to bat first is because they rely on their batting.
Yes.
You know, Pakistani women's team do not rely on their bowling. So
Yes.
that's exactly what they did. But the pitch was really difficult to play. And what happens is because it's one-day international, after quite some time, the pitch's behavior do change. Now, okay, that's one thing. We have lost, unfortunate that the opener game of the World Cup women wasn't really great for us. Now, let's speak about today's encounter, which will be in between England women and South Africa women. Who do you think is your favorite team?
I think England.
England, you're going to go side with England. I think that's wonderful. Now, I'm going to bring it to Sunday, where it's going to be Super Sunday. It's going to be Pakistan women and Indian women as well coming together. Where unfortunately for the last 3 Sundays we have seen that India has been defeating Pakistan cricket team. What are your hopes and what are your expectations?
Let's not be hopeless. I am very hopeful when it comes to, you know, Pakistan cricket team, and when it comes to cricket, it's all about being hopeful. It's all about a sport. One team has to win. But India, again, Indian women team has a great, great grip on their sport. They have a great team, they have great batting line, they have great bowling line, and Pakistan team needs to work on their bowling as well. When you said about why Pakistan bowlers couldn't take any wickets, that is the one main reason, that we have a good batting line, but that was not, I guess, not properly utilized in the last match.
And Natalia, just to wrap this up, let's talk about how Diana Beg and Sana played brilliantly in the power play, right? She bowled brilliantly in the power play, and Fatma Sana also put up a good fight. How can we leverage these players against the match?
It's a very initial stage to talk about how the team would actually perform in the upcoming World Cup and upcoming matches, because we should give our team a little leverage and a little margin. So, you know, we see that when they play the next games, we can then conclude that how would they actually play. Coming back to how Fatma Sana played and other players, they are good players, they have potential, they can do it, but with the immense hard work.
Yeah.
And against India, of course, good hopes.
They certainly need some good hard work as well, and their coach, Mr. Mohammad Wasim, is out there in the dugout as well. I hope that, you know, he could make sure that the girls are able to perform, and it's the coach's responsibility that he actually kind of makes them perform or gives them that right mindset that, hey, you know what, you guys are supposed to deliver. If you do not deliver, there will be circumstances which you might not like. But thank you so much, Natalia, for being with us. It's wonderful to have you over here. We will build up on that, inshallah, on Monday. But for each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out towards a short break. As soon as you come back, we'll be talking about Pakistan cricket. Let's speak about infrastructure in Pakistan and how on fast pace we do see Balochistan growing and progressing. How? That's the question which we will be asking right after a short break. Good morning. Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Now, today we will be taking you to Balochistan, where I think there's this initiative that everybody needs to speak about, and the initiative is referred to as Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects. To speak about it, we're very lucky that we have been joined by the Senior Project Coordinator, the Government of Balochistan. He is Mr. Shahzad Hassan JAFFAR. Hello, Shahzad bhai. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much, and I'm highly honored to be on this program
Thank
today.
you so much, sir. Wonderful to have you over here. Not just that, it's a very rare instance that I actually get to meet people who actually have the same name as me. So, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.
Jazakallah. Yes.
All right, let's speak more about these initiatives in Balochistan, the Green Balochistan Initiative and the socio-economic development going on in Balochistan. Please take it away.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First, I would like to tell you about what is Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Project.
Sure.
Actually, this concept was conceived in the year 2022-23 by the government of Balochistan and the Pakistan Army, where it was idealized that we should address the issues of a common man of Balochistan on grassroots level. Therefore, various schemes were identified in the year 2022-23, and in 2023, we transformed those issues into substantive projects. And Alhamdulillah, in 2024, we were in the implementation phase. One of the components of this Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects is Green Balochistan Initiative, which is around 8 billion rupees, and which would be uplifting the agriculture sector of Balochistan. When I talk about Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects, we have bifurcated, rather we have addressed the major issues of a common man in Balochistan, which includes the infrastructure development, the water supply schemes, the dams. The total cost of the Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Project is around 22 billion Pakistani rupees, in which we have phase 1, because we have 2 phases. In phase 1, we have 22 road projects, we have 33 water supply projects, and we have 6 various dams in Avaran and Kalar districts.
Exactly. Now, Shahzad bhai, I think that's exactly what we would want to speak about. Imagine that when we speak about development within Balochistan, we do know that how it has been a very challenging subject. Now, for the government of Balochistan, alongside with the armed force or the Pakistan Army, how well do you think it is being received by the people of Balochistan? And do you think that it is the people of Balochistan which are kept in mind while making sure that we develop infrastructure of Balochistan for them?
It is a very good question, and I would proudly say that when we have initiated this, specifically this Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects, it was the people who were so forthcoming that they encouraged us that for the implementation and execution of the projects. And it was the people who encouraged us to go for the phase 2 of Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects. So now we are almost into the finalization stage of phase 1, and now we have initiated the phase 2. And like I said, that it was the people, it was the local population who encouraged us, and because I always used to go and visit the sites, and they were so forthcoming that they used to encourage us and used to tell us that, sir, please come, and we should have more of these such initiatives for Balochistan. Yes, there have been issues because it's a large province with difficult terrains. But Alhamdulillah, we received, Alhamdulillah, a very positive response from the local population.
Thank you so much for sharing such a positive, candid view of Balochistan. And speaking more about this, let's talk about the Zob Varna Road, which is being inaugurated. And how difficult was it to actually make this road in such rugged infrastructure? But how is it actually going to change the lives of the locals living there?
Zob Varna Road is one of the road infrastructure project of BSTP Phase 1, Balochistan Socio-Economic. This road would be connecting Balochistan. It would be an alternative route from Balochistan, from Quetta to Islamabad. And you're absolutely right. We had to face issues because due to terrain. But Alhamdulillah, due to the joint efforts of the departments of Government of Balochistan, of the Pak Army, we, Alhamdulillah, now the project is almost in its finalization stage. 60% has been completed, And by inshallah June 2026, you would be, if you would want to travel to Quetta from Islamabad, this would be the shortest route.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful, and we hope and pray that the safety of the people is kept in mind as well with all of these trades. But now, sir, let's speak about the challenges that you might have faced, in terms of local governments and whatnot. Imagine that whenever we are to kind of build infrastructure, and first of all, knowing that that our leader over here in the federal is very optimistic gentleman. He wants projects to be delivered right on time. How do you think is the alliance in between the federal government and then the Balochistan government, and how are the local governments making sure that everything is done on time?
I think, alhamdulillah, that all are synchronized.
Alhamdulillah.
Because when the top leadership has a vision, and when it is when it travels down, translate or travel down to the grassroots level, then I think everyone is clear that what has to be done. And alhamdulillah, when this is very dear to me, this initiative, because we have initiated it and now we are in the implementation phase and the finalization stage. So yes, we had issues because as I said, Balochistan is a huge and large province. You have issues, there are certain issues because when you plan something on a drawing board, it is different. But when you go in the implementation phase, and in terms of Balochistan, because it is a very difficult terrain, so you have to see each and everything. And when we were implementing the Balochistan socio-economic, these projects, we had few issues regarding the terrains because we used to plan everything on Google, but when we went to the implementation phase, but alhamdulillah, due to the efforts of the administrative departments who are the implementing partners, we had a very good synchronization and the projects went very well.
And how do you think that the people of Balochistan will be able to take advantage of this infrastructure which is being built for them? They will have access to the entire country. They could travel by roads now, alhamdulillah, that too safely, do their own businesses. So what are the other benefits that they will be garnering?
For this question, I'll give you two examples. I'll quote two examples. There's a road Nag-Washuk in this. It is around 57 or 60 kilometers. Washuk is a very important town in Balochistan, but due to the lack of road infrastructure, it is disconnected from the rest of the country. So I myself, I traveled there. Now at the moment, if someone has to travel from Washuk to Karachi or Quetta, they have to travel by the rugged terrains or by the riverbed. Means if you have a patient with you, and God forbids if he or she expires, so the local will blame the state for that. So after the construction of that road, Washuk would be connected with the national highway, and it would be easy for everyone of the from the local population to travel to Karachi or Quetta. Another example, there's a city, Sibi, very famous in Balochistan historically. We had a water supply project in Sibi. When I visited there for the last 40 years, that population was lacking water supply facilities. The local population, the ladies, the women, the children, and the cattle, they used to drink water from the same pond. What we did, we gave them water solution, we gave them a solar power tube, we gave them underground tank, and we gave them RO plant, filtration plant. Now they have a water supply scheme at their doorstep. Means now they don't have to travel 2 to 3 kilometers just for the sake of water. Now all is available on their doorstep.
MashaAllah.
All right, and on this note, let's talk about the cultivation of land. What actually piqued my interest is that in such a rugged terrain, how can such large land be cultivated? In the command area 1B, in your project, it was stated that the cultivation of around 300,000 acres will be inducted. So how do you think it's going to happen, and how is it going to change the perspective of Balochistan?
Exactly, you are talking about Green Balochistan initiative. It is one of the component, it is the agriculture component of Balochistan socio-economic development projects. Actually, the idea was that to have a state-of-the-art technology in Balochistan for the agriculture uplift. So what we did, first I would like to emphasize that in 2022, when the floods damaged major infrastructure in Balochistan, the Kachi Canal, which is considered as the future line life of Balochistan, that was also badly damaged, especially the command area. So in Green Balochistan initiative, first we are uplifting the command area in which 100,000 acres would be cultivated. And you can imagine if 100,000 acres is cultivated, how will it bring the revolution in the lives? Then we are giving 333 solar power tubes, water solutions, and drip irrigation system to population in Washuk, in Turbat, in Kolu, and in Panjgur. So yes, we are uplifting the people. There are difficulties, but this agriculture revolution will bring changes in the life of the people.
And it's not just the agriculture revolution or probably the infrastructure revolution or the industry revolution. I think what we really need to kind of emphasize on, and I might be talking ahead of myself, which I shouldn't be doing, but now imagine that this means that the footfall is going to increase in Balochistan, inshallah, and the people of Balochistan will be fairly connected to the rest of Pakistan. How do you think that the facilities as of hospitals or schools have been under consideration, that there needs to be more facilities for people of Balochistan in terms of good hospitals, good treatments, good schools, good universities? Is the government working on that?
Every initiative that government has initiated or they are planning has its own importance.
Okay.
Like we have BSDP, Balochistan Socio-Economic Development Projects. Likewise, we have started BSDI, Balochistan Special Development Initiative. So yes, already existing infrastructures are there, and the government of Balochistan is also trying to functionalize those which are dormant or which are not exactly. And
so the infrastructure is there,
exactly.
It was dormant, so they are being restored.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Restored. And it is, I always endorse the leadership of the current Chief Minister of Balochistan, Sarfaraz Bugti Sahab, that he has been forthcoming in addressing these infrastructure issues or the HR issues where it is needed. And when you come to Balochistan and you see majority of the dormant structures or the schools or these hospitals, they have been reactivated, and the HR has been re-employed, and that has been addressed, alhamdulillah.
Exactly, well, that's wonderful. And I was supposed to visit Balochistan, I think it was on the 6th of September, but I couldn't, unfortunately, but inshallah in days to come I will be there, and I will certainly visit the infrastructure as well. Well, thank you so much, Shahzad sir, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you, and for such an amazing gentleman to be out there and making sure that all the projects are being delivered to the people of Balochistan on time by the government of Balochistan is something which is phenomenal to see. So, such a good time to be alive, shukr, alhamdulillah.
And we cannot wait to see how in 5 to 10 years, what will Balochistan look like after all these projects have been completed. It will eventually look like a cleaner, greener and economically more stable province, right? And on this note, we are going to conclude this show. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. See you on Monday.
Look after yourselves, Jummah Mubarak. Allah Hafiz.